Welcome to the Freelance Drive. Here we talk with skilled freelancers about their professional journey. Stay tuned for real life experiences to learn and actionable steps to take to improve your freelancing career. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works. And my guest is Anna Michalak, a passionate social media marketing expert, a business consultant, a LinkedIn ghostwriter, and a founder of Vision Marketing Consultancy. So, welcome, Anna.
Hi, so nice to have you here. Well, so nice to have me here, to be fair. So nice to meet you. Thank you
Happy
so
to have
much.
everyone here, like that's how it works. Because by the way, if you want to ask me some questions, you can always do that. So no worries. Let's not be like I'm an interviewer, you're a guest. Let's
Oh,
like
brilliant.
switch chairs from time to time. And I met you because of Adam Faulkner, because of his amazing like highlighting
Oh, yeah.
freelancers, amazing freelancers series. And I just understood that you are a great expert. I'm trying to be better on LinkedIn. I'm trying to post some things. I'm trying to kind of build professional brand, but you're doing it really professionally. So I'm curious, out of all social media platforms, why did you decide to focus on LinkedIn?
So I kind of think it all started when I was in university. So I was attending this employability module, and basically the teacher advised us to create a LinkedIn profile where basically you will be more visible to your potential employers and basically be open to more work experience as as an undergraduate. So at that time, I actually, logged in, I created my profile, but all I knew about the platform is how to change my profile picture and the background. So
Yeah.
my journey with the platform at the time of university ended right there. And so I think it was fast forward to 2022. I was looking for a job, and of course LinkedIn is known for the place to go to when
Yeah.
you want to get additional experience and kind of change your career lane, etc. So I opened the app again, and I've seen many posts from my colleagues saying I've got a job, or I've done this and that. And as happy as I was for them, right, it was kind of a bit frustrating because here I am looking for a job, and you telling me that you got a job at the Big Four, etc. And I'm like, I felt frustrated, but that was because I got the news from them, but I didn't know what the value was. Like, I just seen the news and I just thought to myself, okay, what can I do with that information?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know. So I think on my timeline at the time, it was basically posts like this all the time. And then I think I've seen one or two posts from content creators basically
Mhm.
on LinkedIn. And it actually gave me, some direction on how to improve in my, social media world and career. So I was like, this is what I want to see. And wow, I've actually learned something from, this small little post. So that kind of, switched my perspective on the platform. And a year later, I actually was working like full time, and I was managing 4 brands at the time as a
Mm.
social media manager. And I thought to myself, wow, like I would love to expand, the industry, and basically work with, more businesses and more people as a freelancer.
Yeah.
So I kind of, as I wanted to work with other, businesses and to get more direction, I kind of opened the app again. And that's when it kind of all started. So I started sharing my journey on LinkedIn and all the things I've learned. And I had such a big imposter syndrome
Yeah.
of posting and being on a platform. I didn't feel comfortable at all. So I just started engaging like crazy, absolutely crazy. I used to spend an hour and a half in the morning engaging with other people. So it was very time consuming, but I did that to, to make myself feel welcome as much as I can. And I think it was after, I think 2 months, after 2 months, that it picked up quite a bit of traction.
Mm.
So I kind of kept improving and improving, and I was, getting more engagement. And as that was happening, more people noticed it, and they were like, "Oh, Anna, you're doing amazing. Can you help us do the same thing? So that kind of how I got to where I am now, and what kind of helped me choose the platform itself. And I also remember a statistic I've seen. I think it was from Kinsta, is like a data
Hmm.
resource, that out of 250 million monthly users on LinkedIn, only 1% post content. So
Wow.
I was like, that's a killer statistic, because if you focus on posting your content consistently, you actually become a part of that 1% very easily. So I was like, wow, this is brilliant. And that means straight away that your content is visible to the 99 other people that don't post content, but they lurk. So I was like, this is a huge visibility like opportunity. And of course, LinkedIn is, the main platform for business to business marketing. And, basically it means your content and what you do in your career, your experience, whatever you post about, will be seen by national and global businesses and their decision makers,
Yeah.
which means, opportunities on top of opportunities next to opportunities. So I was like, this is a brilliant kind of choice to kind of go for. And I kind of figured out as I was posting content that, people buy from people. So why not leverage that, as this type
Yeah.
of content got the biggest traction out of all LinkedIn. And why not kind of leverage that with my personal brand? And of course, as kind of that was scaling up, LinkedIn started acting as my CV, which I absolutely hated
Exactly.
using. And I can imagine other freelancers hate using their CV as well, because it's like, we have a portfolio. Why not ask about the portfolio instead? So using your LinkedIn as a portfolio kind of just absolutely nicked me to the platform, and it motivated me to stay on it, yeah, till now.
It's so fun that you told me that about how you felt when you just joined, that everyone was having jobs and they were happy. And at some point, I felt very much the same because
Yeah,
I saw just happy posts. And, at some point, I thought that LinkedIn is like place for happy and angry posts, because you have
yeah,
happy posts when like people find like achieved some kind of milestone and everything, and then like angry posts where they didn't achieve, or they were somehow treated bad or something like that. And I was like, is there anything in between? And then I saw people like you who are doing a journey and then they're sharing a journey, because it's a huge gap. People think that you achieve overnight success,
oh
so
yeah,
usually they don't know that all the hard work that you are doing. I love this Eminem song. They don't know all the sleepless nights of you and etc. But it's really great that you are sharing openly your knowledge. And I also believe that in that way, you are also learning, because you are sharing something, you are receiving instant feedback from people, and you understand, oh, okay, so you want to know this, okay, so let's have a conversation. And talking about conversations, by the way, I see that you are having them, and you told that you were engaged in LinkedIn like half 1 hour, 1 hour, 1.5. And I bet that you are spending much more time, maybe a little bit different, but still, because it's like it was a place where you work. And
yeah,
you wrote that you are not just a content creator, but you're also building communities on LinkedIn.
yeah.
And I'm as community builder, yes, I really want to know more. So tell me more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that. So, if sometimes it just feels surreal when, because I've got some messages, that, of people saying, oh, I've admired your content from the start. It kind of helped me start out on LinkedIn. Or I even got a message, and I remember this to this day. It was like, um, your content was actually what got me so much traction, because I based my post on your post, and I was like, people actually read my posts. Like, oh my
No
god,
way.
yeah, honestly, it feels surreal. It feels surreal to know that, my content is so interesting to people that kind of it hooks them in. And, like, I feel like what kind of switched and differentiates a little my content to some of other people. It was basically when I joined the platform and I started, sharing my journey, etc. I've seen so many people start sell their services on LinkedIn, and of course, that there's nothing wrong with that. You need to communicate your services. It's your promotional pillar. You need to speak about it. But what I found is that many people, all they did was sell, 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 and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I am not good at all at selling. I hated it. I hated being so straightforward with people. I just hated it. So I knew I didn't like it and I wasn't good at it. So what I knew always instead is that I'm very good at building relationships with
Hmm.
other people. So I was like, let's focus on this instead of, focusing on something that I'm not good at. So let's focus on the positives here.
Yeah.
And that's why since the start of my journey, I prioritized engagements, DMs, comments, shout outs, and then I eased my audience into kind of like selling my services through, stories and just personal content. So I kind of went all in with this, and there were times surreal when I grew like 1.5k followers a week without going viral, because I was
Yeah.
like, okay, so this is actually possible. It's possible to grow your account without getting viral. So I kind of focused on just building, a community instead. And that's kind of when it picked up. So I focused on the strategy, and, like I've tested it. And that's when the clients kind of, came to me, and Cam, my co-founder, saying, oh, you're doing this. It's brilliant. Can you help us do the same? Because we currently have let's say, low sales,
Yeah.
or they have low social media, conversion from their individual channels. And that's kind of how community building started for us. So we started growing it unconsciously at that point for us, and then we got basically approached by people wanting to grow their communities with
Yeah.
a little extra expert sprinkle. So I was like, yeah, there you go. So this is the niche that we're gonna go for. So yeah, that's what it was.
And I'm curious, what does your content strategy looks like now?
So my content strategy is, it's kind of ever evolving. So I place a very strong kind of emphasis on, test and learn and optimize, see what works for this kind of customer, see what works for this kind of customer in this situation, in this trend. But as it stands, I okay, so let's break it down. So I usually time allocate 3 hours of kind of bulking content creation. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I use, and it's a very good tool. Not many people know about this tool, which is surreal for me, but it's called Hey Orca, which is the
Hmm.
best name they could possibly do. It's like a social media scheduler that you can like literally go in, and that's when I spend all my time kind of bulking content, ideating, writing, and basically just creating the best performing content that I think will drive the most traffic and achieve something that I wanted to achieve. And I usually write content around my 5 content pillars, which is personal story, educational, credibility, strategy process, and community building. So
Hmm.
basically that's just what I named them to make sure I'll nail it down and I'll stick to the brief. And then so after that, so it's written, it's done. So then I ask Cam, my co-founder, to kind of review it and tell me his feedback, and I then create graphics for it. So
Hmm.
whether it's a little home photo shoot, or a little graphic on Canva, or a little video or GIF, that's kind of the content already created guides that basically. And then I used to post my content 3 to 4 times a week. So I'm getting back to it now, but my goal is basically to post 5 times a week. So that's kind of what I will prioritize over
Hmm.
the next month. And then, so how I post is basically I post personal story on Monday to kind of motivate, my audience, to ease them into the week with my kind of, story. So this is what I did. This is what you can do too. If you need help, always make sure to DM me. I'll be more than
Yeah.
happy to help. And then I post educational content on Tuesday. Then I post a little credibility content on Wednesday, which is basically some case studies, client results, because what I found, it's very important for you to showcase what you do and how you do it, but also how others can benefit from it. It's kind of like little, cherry on cake. So it's basically, this is who I am, this is what
Yeah.
I do, how I help, and this is why. The why is very important, and this is what the credibility pillar kind of focuses on. And then we have a strategy process on Thursday, which is basically just, me sharing everything I do on a daily with other people. Because as we've discussed earlier, it's literally, you might say something that you do on a daily basis that not many people know about, and
Yeah.
it might actually change, the way they do things and their efficiency, their, effectiveness, and kind of the progress in which, they're growing. And then just to ease into the weekends, it's the community focused pillar. So on Friday, so any community kind of triggering conversation triggering, sorry, posts, anything, jumping on trends, or, just sharing your ideas, opinions, asking your, community to kind of input their thoughts and what they, what they think about it, what we should do, what we shouldn't do. It's a very good way to spark the conversation basically on a Friday when everyone just thinks about the weekend. And also what I pop into my content strategy is the engagement time. So when I used to kind of engage like crazy for an hour and a half, now I kind of split it to, to meet with my current workload for other clients and
Yeah.
actually to live my life. So what I do, I spend 30 minutes before the posting time to kind of, ease in the algorithm and LinkedIn that, okay, I'm here, I'm active, this is who I engaged with. So this my upcoming post needs to be shown to this kind of people because I'm
Hmm.
engaged with those kind of people. And then I post, which I usually schedule because it's so much easier and
Yeah.
so less time consuming. And then I spend 15 minutes to 20 after that, basically, after posting to reply to any comments, DMs, and just to engage basically with other, people on my timeline. And then the trick that I can kind of get the audience into is after 5 to 6 hours, I actually post a comment on the,
Hmm.
this content that I posted. And I either then educate even more, so I give even more value of what I know, or promote my services then to ease in, my audience into my services a little bit more comfortable for me than, just selling all the time. And oh yeah, or either, I can just share like a personal story of mine to kind of nurture that relationship that I have with them and get them into my life, a little bit more. So
And it's
basically,
interesting. It feels like you also, doing this kind of inception. So you basically just share information on the post, and people like, oh, okay, it's everything, and then like you do an even more sharing
yeah,
in the comments, and then like, oh my God, I can imagine then like the third level, like comment to comment, and then like the third level of inception. But and
exactly.
you already talked a little bit about tools. So you talked about Hey Orca and you talked about Canva. So can you please list tools that you use in your daily work and for what do you use them?
Of course, yeah. So honestly, for all the freelancers out there, please use tools and automate your, services and your processes, because it will save a lot of sanity, honestly, to your life. And the tools that make me a much happier person on a daily basis and a much more productive one. So, of course, first of all, I live in Canva. So, this is basically for content creation, graphic design. Well, I'm not, well, graphic design, but not so social media graphic design, let's say, because graphic designers will absolutely call me out for not using Adobe. Sorry, guys. So, so we're just going to say social media content creation. Yeah, and basically everything from presentations and action plans, pitch decks, everything literally happens for me on Canva. I even use the Word extension on Canva, the tool, rather than Microsoft Word, because I just like to share it with anyone and just get their input on it. Second one, yeah, as I've mentioned, it would be Hey Orca to basically ideate, create, schedule, and manage content for me and my clients, because they basically, we have different dashboards and clients can basically get access to any one of them and see the content in the flesh as it is, get any comments, get any opinions and drop any comments, etc. And then I also use Milanote. So Milanote is, I found, not many people know about it as well. It's a very good way to kind of streamline your processes. You can visually, yeah, it's more of like a visual tool to showcase your process, to kind of even create content as well. It's like an idea Dropbox for me, basically. And that's where I also have all the outlines of my, kind of processes, just to keep it in one place. And the fourth one, which is one of the biggest one for me, it would be Notion. Notion is a little bit more known, but it's basically for streamlining my processes. I have my daily to-do list there, client priorities, client projects, everything outlined there. Same with my basically templates, so social media strategy templates, conference type templates, discovery call scripts, etc. Everything in one place, and a monthly budget, of course, just to make sure we're on the right track to basically grow and grow and grow, and then invest in the correct services. So yeah,
Got it. Not that many, but I feel like they're feeling all the needs. And yeah, I will definitely try Hey Orca. I didn't hear about that, but yeah,
it's a
interesting.
cool name. It's a cool name. I say
Exactly.
that to everyone, and everyone's like, "Hey, what?" And I'm like, "Hey, orca, yeah, I said the
Hey, what?
animal, yeah." But no, it's like, I feel like freelancers sometimes, because I remember me in the early kind of days, I wanted to have as many tools as I could and invest as many things that I could, just to make sure I'll cover all the bases. But then what I found is that I was spending, subscriptions and fees onto kind of tools that I wasn't really
Yeah.
using that much. So, and then after that, after I already subscribed, I found that my current tools, they cover everything that the additional ones did. So I just dropped the additional ones and I just focused on the four. And then I was just like, let's just streamline my processes using the four and not overcomplicate the life.
Yeah, exactly. Tools are just lifesavers. I totally
Yeah.
agree with you. So for you, posting on LinkedIn and working with clients is business itself. But what are three smallest steps to take for a full-time non-creator freelancers who wants to build their brands and who wants to get clients on LinkedIn?
No problem. So I actually have a process for this, but it's 5 steps, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, the more steps is better. Just make
Okay.
them really small so people can really do them.
No problem. So, so just the 5 steps. So the first one is establish what you want to be known for. So before even kind of getting on the platform, what you want to be known for. Is it, because it's easy to kind of get into the spiral of, oh, I know a little bit of everything and I like a little bit of everything. But when you think about it, we can't be good at everything, and that's completely okay. We just can't be
Yeah.
good at everything, and that's okay. So that's why I always recommend to kind of take this big thing that of all the things that you think you're good at or you want to be good at, and think of what you like doing. So that kind of narrows it down. So think of what you like to do, what you have experience in or want to build experience in, and narrow it down. So basically, if I like to do marketing, so this is okay, I like to do all things marketing, but then, oh, actually, I like to do, digital marketing more. But I don't really like, the email marketing side, etc. So let's just focus, I actually like social media. So let's just focus on social media. And there's your niche,
Yeah.
basically. You have it in the palm of your hand kind of thing. And then what's important as well is to establish who you want to work with. So you know what you want to be perceived as, but who you actually want to work with. Is it freelancers? Is it other businesses? Is it basically just, you know, CEOs, decision makers? And nailing it down is so important because this will make your content creation and talking to that person way easier. You'll literally be able to imagine that person sitting, exactly right next to you and kind of write for them as if you're talking to them. So that's a very important one as well. And then after you establish these two things, it's very important to research your niche. So I'm a very strategic person. When there was a trend on TikTok saying, you're either, the creative marketing girl or, the database marketing girl, I'm a little bit of both, but I love a good strategy. That's why I'm like, okay, let's have that set in stone. So it will inform everything. I'm like, for me, that's why planning is everything. So I would very much advise three things. So research your niche on either Answer Socrates, Answer Socrates. It's a free basically website that shows you what people are searching for, and you can have as many searches a day as possible. So you don't have to pay for it. So that's quite a good tool. Or you can either go to to Google FAQ section. When you input something into Google, you have these free promoted items and a few organic items, and then you have this little drop down section that you can investigate. You can actually see both for your services and your target audience what customers are searching for. So when you research a niche on these two tools, it's important to actually write down what they use for, because if they ask for it, that's what they struggle with. So you need to definitely find it and then write it down, basically. So write down everything that they struggle with and put a little bullet point next to each one. Set basically explain how can your service be that solution, how can you actually help that person with that problem. And then the bonus actually is to kind of like note repetitive keywords customers use, because then you can use these repetitive keywords in your content. So just basically note them down, and every time you'll write your content, you'll use these keywords, so they will show up every time somebody will search for that problem. And then the third step is to, of course, gain all that information and create a strategy. So what I'm faced with from the client side is usually the fact that they don't have a correct strategy, or they have an outdated one, or mostly they just don't have it. Their only strategy was to post, I don't know, 3 times a week, but you don't know what, when,
Yeah.
why, etc. So it's very important to nail it down. So to nail kind of your strategy, as a freelancer down, it's important to not note down what you want to kind of achieve on the platform. So is it, for example, to sell your service or your digital product, or build a community, build your business, maybe grow your network? Because then when you know what you want to achieve, you'll be able to actually get from point A to point B, which is very important. And then based on all this information, within your strategy, it's very important to outline your ideal customer. So, you've already established who you want to be known for and who you want to be known to, but what does your kind of ideal customer look like? Do they spend all day on LinkedIn, or do they, work in a vet industry, let's say, or do they work in a videography industry? It's very important to know who you're going to go after, because then, of course, if you're going for, let's say, videographer, clients, you won't talk about vet. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's very important to kind of niche it down. Vet was such a random example. I was shocked at myself. But yeah, it works. And then, of course, once you outline your customer persona, that's what we call it. So when you outline your ideal customer, basically, you can use what they struggle with in the drop down sections, and you can use it to outline how you can help and how can you reach them, basically. And then So these 3 steps, so we have established who you want to be known uh, for and perceived as, research niche, and create a strategy. Knowing these 3 bits of information, you can actually move to writing content and separating your content ideas into pillars. So that's what we call content pillars. It's basically your key messages that you want to communicate with your audience on a
Yeah.
daily basis. And your messages needs to, it's kind of like a triangle. So that kind of triangle. So it's basically, you need to reach your correct audience, build relationship with them, and then nurture them for conversion, basically. So how to create content pillars, it's basically just nailing down what you want to communicate out. So as I said before, I use 5 content pillars. So we have personal story, we have educational, credibility, we have strategy, process, and community focused. So each one of them is basically has a goal in my mind. So for example, personal story is for me to build relationships, with my audience by sharing my story and my journey. And you and other freelancers can do that too. So for example, if you, okay, I want to educate, my audience about, what I do on a daily basis. There you go. Here's your educational pillar because you want to educate. And by educating, you want to showcase your expertise. You want to address a specific problem and you want to provide a solution for them, basically. So for basically each content pillar, you can outline the name, the goal, and the valuable takeaways that you will communicate. And then basically, once you use that content pillar to create and write a post, just write a goal for it. So you'll know exactly how to write it to reach that particular goal, basically. And then the fifth step would be basically to create an engagement strategy. So it's basically, that's how I started my journey and what I recommend to everyone to start their journey like, and just basically go all in on engagement, but not just anyone on the timeline. What I would suggest is to research and choose 10 to 15 micro and macro, creators that are relevant to what you do, that you can engage with to become visible to their audience and to build brand awareness on the platform. And then block out time to create, basically, it's just block out time to engage with the audience and that list of creators. And then at the end, just create a list of potential clients that you want to work with and engage within those 30 minutes after and before posting with them too. So that would be kind of like a 5 steps for me.
That's exactly how you can say that you love strategy. Yes, I know it because basically it was not like 5 small steps to take, but it was like a full content strategy of how to start, build your brand, and get clients. So basically, if people go from step 1 to 5, I think that they will definitely master LinkedIn. So thank you very much for
Right.
sharing that.
No
And
problem at all.
and I really wish to have the sky as a limit, but time is a limit to our conversation.
Of
So the
course.
final question, what is your favorite food?
Oh, spaghetti. Oh, I love spaghetti bolognese. I could eat it all night, all day long. Honestly, I absolutely love it.
Got it.
What
Got
about
it.
you?
For me, it's easy pizza, pizza
Oh,
everywhere. So
which one?
No matter if it's tasty, it's good. Pizza saves the party, and I
Oh,
used to
yeah.
have in-person communities meeting in Kiev, Ukraine, and every time we had pizza there, and I had this joke that we are not gathering to exchange experience; we are really gathering to have some pizza together. So it always worked.
That's brilliant. It's a very good, what's it called? Like a conversation breaker, isn't it? When you want to get to know someone at the party, it's like, oh, we don't gather to network. We just
Yeah,
gather
let's
to
have a
understand.
pizza.
And I
Exactly.
don't blame you. Honestly, I love a good pizza, but one pizza spaghetti. No,
So you
it's
know
not.
how it works. So, Anna, yes, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And it's been such a pleasure to hear and learn from you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Yuri. Honestly, it's been amazing to kind of share everything I know. And just exactly like you've said, it's so easy to kind of, well, it's hard to nail down everything you want to say because you want to say it as much as you can. So I just hope, freelancers watching us will get back to that episode and basically know how to nail down LinkedIn for their own benefit.
And I hope they get back to your LinkedIn profile because you're sharing a lot of great advice, and they have to just go and follow them. And if they follow them, they will thrive. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button or 5 stars and share it with your friend. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.